All right, crew, we are back. If you've been following along for a little while, did a video last year on my go-to build, which happened to have this upper on it. I have now swapped all the parts off of this upper onto a Super Duty upper, but quick glance at what my old upper was constructed of. I have a Midwest Industries combat rail. Love the feel of it. Rosco 11.5 inch. We have a Sons of gas block in there and gas tube. Just an Aero Precision upper. Ford Control Designs EPC, their ejection port cover. And, you know, I ran this for years. Classes, out camping, just, you know, normal dude stuff, going out, having fun. This particular upper, it ran fine. Again, it was on my go-to, but I did have issues with, you know, in particular, OK Industries mags or Brownells mags. Brownells mags were made by OK Industries for quite some time, and it was strictly, you know, OK Industries mags that I was having some serious malfunctions on this upper that actually required me to use the forward assist. I know there's a bunch of people out there that don't really care for the forward assist, but if I did not have a forward assist, it was completely, you know, disabled. I had to cram the round into chamber because the round would get stuck on the feed ramps and bend, and ultimately I'd cram it in, fire it, which then reformed the brass, and it ejected fine. But ultimately, you know, seeking to, you know, find a little bit more reliability across mags, I decided to go ahead and buy a factory-built upper. I had built this myself, and that led me in the journey to where we are today. I'll scoot these to the side here of the Super Duty. So this is my go-to. Again, swapped everything off of the previous upper I just showed. We'll go ahead and we will start from, you know, tip to butt. So we have a rugged R3 flash hider, cloud defensive 1.0 body with a 3.0 head, a Dbal A3. We have our Super Duty upper, which again, that's the new ad here. So a Mark 16 rail. This has the centering tab, which is now covered with our EOTech. We have our chrome lined and cold hammer forged barrel in a 1-in-7 twist. So extremely excited to get this thing running. I did put some rounds through it the other day, but really need to dial in a little bit more. But let's continue here. So we've covered everything on the front end here. Now sliding back, we have our Geissele upper with the G, because this was a complete package. So the rail itself and the upper have a centering tab in comparison to like my URGI. I'll do a video kind of showing the differences between those two at some point. But ultimately, you know, this should be a lot stiffer than the combat rail as well. So if we're using, you know, the Dbal and just night vision setup, this rail should be superior. We do have, I swapped over my Sons of Liberty BCG. We have our Magpul M-Bus Pro. This is the long range edition, which allows you to adjust the elevation and the windage. And the reason behind doing that is our rail scale leaf on the front here, which actually is a built-in iron sight that you can add to the Dbal A2. Kind of skipped over the optic, but we have a EOTech EXPS 3-0, one of my favorite, you know, optics out there. We do have a Geissele. This is the Geissele government charging handle. A little more compact than the Airborne, or the Airborne is the one that comes on the URGI. Just a little bit narrower. This is the one that they used with, you know, the FBI HRT contract with the Geissele, their Mark IV rail, excuse me. So yeah, so that's what we've got going on there. The lower Sons of Liberty Crusader lower, I've had this for quite some time. It's SBR'd, so we do have our, our B5 Bravo on the back. We have a Geissele OD green buffer tube, diamond in the rough these days because they aren't doing much OD green anymore. In fact, to comment on that, they actually are now providing in every upper, anything that I guess is anodized coming out of Geissele, they're now providing a disclaimer that, anodizing may not match, which kind of sucks, guys, because I personally, I love the OD green. I've been collecting OD green as it comes up. I've got the Federal Rail, I have an OD green lower from them, and I have a buffer tube that, at some point you may see come to life. But back to our overview here. So we got our buffer tube going into the Magpul ASAP adapter. These are, I need to go ahead, somebody had commented about putting a little, like rubber coating on it. I have some of that sitting around. At some point I need to do that and give it a try, because I run these on just about everything, and my friends complain they're loud. I don't disagree, but I think there is disadvantages and advantages to each different sling attachment, whether it be paracord, QD, or your HK, or your HK clip. So our safety here, this is actually just a cheapo off of Joe Bob's. I think they're like $15-20. It's got a nice little scallop positioning here on the non-dominant side, or sorry, on your dominant side, so that, your finger actually sits right in this groove, and it is not, stuck up on the thicker part. I don't know how else to describe it. Most of the other ambies out there that I've handled, you tend to have a pretty thick lever still, and a lot of times it's still a little long for at least where I place my finger. So I really like these, and the price point is on point. It is a 90 degree, and you can flip it, and if I remember correct, I run it at the 90. I believe it is 45 or a 50 at the other angle. Again, I just run it at the 90. I know I'm weird. Anyways, moving forward, the trigger on this is a Geissele government, so it is a contract overrun. It is the SSAX government trigger. So it's a standard bow trigger, but it has, the same nano coating and everything as the SSA X that they were doing on the Super Duties, which had a lightning bow, different angle of the trigger. The lightning bows are pretty nice, though. I do have one of those. I have messed around with a friend that has a full 16-inch Super Duty, great trigger. So, Seekins Precision, mag release. And we'll flip to the other side here. So you can see this is how the safety looks on this side. We do have our, our B5 P23. This was stippled by my friend at Center Customs. He hasn't been stippling for a little while, but man, I love the texturing on this. It's a great setup. And definitely complete here with the B5 grip plug. So, flipping back, that's what we've got, guys. And of course the BCM CAG. It is a little large. That is my one gripe with the BCM CAG, is the amount of rail space that it takes up. Something like the Arasaka Indexer, I stuck one of those on my URGI, 11.5. I could see switching that, or sorry, actually the URGI, got my builds mixed up. The URGI I have a CAG on. I have a Sons of Liberty upper that I built out with another Mark 16, an OD green, that has an index on it. So at this point I own all three colors of the Mark 16 rail. Definitely a big fan of them. I honestly, going from going from this guy, after running it for so long, I was honestly a little hesitant to make the swap from this, because it, you know, I really enjoyed the feel of it, to jumping into the Mark 16. But, you know, I made the swap, and immediately after I threw everything on this, it just, I don't even, I'm kind of at a loss for words there, as you can see. But I was kind of like, it just felt natural. Possibly, again, because I have two other, you know, Mark 16 rails with the URGI, and then my Sons of Liberty one that I built out. The Sons of Liberty one, I think I'm going to change up a little bit here in the future. I've got some, I'm going to leave the Mark 16 to be clear, but I'm going to be changing a few parts on that in the near future here. But yeah, so that's what I've got. On the front end, obviously, I do have the, you know, the rugged R3. I've got a cover on it. This is a Sucon suppressor cover in, you know, Desert Night camo. This is their direct action, rated up to 1800 degrees. And that is atop my rugged Micro 30 with the flash hider muzzle. Sorry, with an end cap. So the one downside I will say with the ruggeds, don't get me wrong, because I own, you know, this one, as well as I have their Razor 762, is the older ones are not hub compatible. Some of their newer ones are, but that does keep me, at this point, I have 3 different proprietary muzzle devices, between rugged, Surefire for my URGI, because I have an RC2 for that, and, you know, if you listen to the podcast I'm on with my buddies, you know, I've got something coming in next year, which I'll leave for a surprise for the channel, because I've got some pretty cool suppressor comparisons that will be coming in the near future from, you know, some of the top tier suppressors, in my opinion. I'd say of the past, because it is a little bit historical, but we'll dive into that again down the line. So that's what we've got there. The other day, I did run it. I ran a T-mag through it. I'm still, haven't had any malfunctions. I still have my reservations around the earlier T-mags, knowing that they added a structural reinforcement after the first batch. And of course, this is in the earlier batch, but ran like a champ. Honestly, and I'll get some video footage shooting this in the near future here. Honestly, this gun felt a lot more balanced, and with the buffer setup that I have in this, which is a Springco blue spring with a H2 Noveski buffer, honestly, I felt that it felt smoother than my previous upper, which is kind of odd, because from Geissele's standpoint, with a suppressed 11.5, they would recommend a H3. So I don't know if I'm gonna jump up to an H3. Maybe I'll dabble in it at some point, but it ran smooth. It felt, I was amazed, to say the least. So Geissele, really, I've been impressed with them. As you can tell, I keep buying their uppers. I do have multiple. I'll be doing another video in the near future on another one that I've picked up that I need to build out. But all in all, guys, really, the Super Duty was a great enhancement on this this setup. The big, telltale here of I need to get out and I got to run these. This is the Brownells mags, and some of my OK Industries. I have a bunch of those. I have a Colt one up there, which is also an OK Industries. But OK Industries has, they've got a name with mags, or a reputation with mags, of being, ultra reliable. So it bothered me that I couldn't run one of the, what was considered, top tier GI mags out there. So hopefully this upper resolves the problem, because in the past with that previous upper, I was running mainly, well, pretty much everything other than these. I was running Duramags, P-mags, Lancers, you name it. I've run them on that other upper, but these were oddly an issue. And you can see I actually have an X marking on this one, just signaling that I was having issues with it. And you can see this has a Magpul follower, and then I do have the Springco springs in this one, as well as another Brownells mag I was running. And I will say they enhanced the reliability of the mag for me, but I still was running into those serious malfunctions, just not as often. So we'll give this a run. Again, I'll be doing some video footage, likely shooting it in the near future here. And if I do have any malfunctions, I will report back. But very, very excited about this setup. Oh, another thing, Geissele threw a chamber flag in. Didn't get that with the URGI, oddly. They they give you the buffer setup, buffer and spring, but no chamber flag. Super Duty, they give you the chamber flag. I guess URGI, you get the URGI patch. So kind of funny there, but yeah, that's what we've got today, guys. Just bit of a upgrade here on the Go-To, and in hopes of seeking, enhanced reliability, I think is the best way to put it. So, pretty stoked. But I got the Super Duty upper I did purchase over at Brownells, so huge fan of theirs, as they do help to support the channel. But that's what I've got for you guys today. Thanks for popping over and checking out the update on the Go-To. And again, a lot in the works that is coming down the pipeline here very soon. So stay tuned in, subscribe below, slide down. If you click on the campsite, you'll find links to my Instagram, where I post a lot of photos and fun stories and things as well. But that's what I've got for you guys today. Appreciate you tuning in, and hope you stick around for some more project updates here in the near future. I'll catch you later. Run suppressed. Stay blessed.